Scott, you're with Southwest Boxing Media and Association Bricks and Streetwear. Delighted to be joined by rising female boxing star Amy Timlin. Amy, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. It's a nice sunny day here in Wales for once, which we don't get very often, so I'm going to enjoy it later, I think.
Yeah, I've just got back from the hill runs, so I've done my bit for the day.
I saw an Instagram post where you said, you're not cutting corners. Is that part of Kieran's philosophy, pushing you to the limit?
Pardon?
I saw an Instagram post where you said you're not cutting corners. Is that part of the training camp now?
Yeah, that's all part of it.
Oh, wicked. Obviously now, luckily we are coming out of this pandemic, hopefully. How did you fare with it? I mean, did you find it difficult being a boxer and not being able to get out? Was it sort of a tricky time for you?
Well, it was, because at first I couldn't train. So that was difficult, not being able to go to the gym. But then it started becoming okay. Like, I got the Commonwealth title fight, and I was getting fights, which I was lucky about, because a lot of people haven't been getting fights. So I was lucky on that part. So I'm privileged to even be able to get out there. But it was difficult at first, I must admit. But you just got to stay positive and keep focused and training hard.
Definitely. I mean, we're obviously one of those boxers who've had to fight in a bubble with no crowd. Is it true? I mean, a lot of boxers have said it, but is it true you can sort of hear sort of every blow landing, leather hitting the body? I mean, what's that like, as a boxer? Is it good? Is it bad? How do you feel about that?
It's weird. Like, when I fought without a crowd, it was more like a sparring session.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty much like I was in the gym, and it was strange. But even on the Sky Sports show, there were loads of people there, like with the cameras and stuff like that. So there was sort of a crowd, but nothing, no atmosphere, like no one cheering. So it was weird. It was more like a sparring session.
Sort of as a fan as well, we get to hear even during the fight, corner shouting instructions at their fighters. I mean, I'm taking you could hear the opposition corner shouting instructions. I mean, what was that like? Did they sort of give the game plan away when you can hear what the coach is saying to their fighter? Does that help, or you so sort of in the zone you don't sort of get to hear it?
Well, when you're in the zone, I only can hear my corner. Like, I don't pay attention to what her corner is saying. So the only people I could hear was my corner team. I couldn't hear anything else, in fairness, because when I'm in the zone, I only can focus on what he's saying rather than what the other person is saying, type of thing. So yeah, even with the silence and there was no crowd, I could only hear Kieran.
Oh, wicked. We spoke to Denzel Bentley in the week, who's fighting obviously tonight, and he's obviously in a bubble. And he says that he sort of enjoys the bubble. He likes to relax. Some fighters sort of overthink fights. I mean, what was it like for you in the bubble? Were you sort of relaxed, chilling out, or did the fight sort of go around your head a bit too many times, do you think?
It's definitely more of a build up, because normally you go there on the day of the fight and then you just fight, but you're around your opponent. Like, I was in the next room to my opponent. Like,
Well, so she was next door?
Yeah, she was next door.
No way. Were you banging on the wall at 3 o'clock in the morning? Banging on the wall, waking it up to try and ruin his sleep?
It was strange. Like, we opened the door and we didn't even know. We looked at each other and we're like, we're in the next room to each other. So it was weird. You don't normally have that happen. Normally you just go, they turn up and you fight. But the whole build up, being there for a week, being around everyone that I was around, it was all new to me as well. So yeah, it was something new, but it was all experience as well. So
definitely. I mean, boxers, when we speak to boxers post-fight, they're often, uber critical of their performances. I'm assuming you've watched the fight back, the draw you had. Do you feel, with the mistakes you saw, do you feel like you could have done more?
Yeah, I'm my worst critic as well. So when I was watching it back, I was very critical about it. I knew that I could have done a lot more than what I did do, but it's all experience, and all I can do is just keep moving forward and learn from it. And my next fight, everything that I'd done wrong in my last fight, I'll correct it.
Definitely. I mean, I think she came out and said you seemed happy with the draw, but in my opinion was, I think you were sort of, you felt that was a fair result. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I felt like a draw was a fair result in terms of it was a close fight. So, yeah, I wasn't. No one's happy about drawing a fight. You want to win, but I felt like it was a fair result.
Yeah, so you would accepting rather than happy, I guess.
Yeah, it's just you've got to accept it.
Speaking on far you can go. Congrats, obviously, on the European title shot. How excited are you? And do you know much about, Mary Romero?
I'm buzzing about it. When I got told that I was fighting for the European, I was like, I was shocked because it's massive. But I don't really know much about her. I just know that she's champion, and yeah, she's orthodox as well. So it's all good to know that. But that's all I really know. She's orthodox, same height, and she's game. I know that she comes forward. She's a game fighter. So yeah, I can't wait to get in there and show what I'm capable of.
Definitely. I mean, considering she's ranked below you and obviously Carly. I mean, who you drew with last time out. You expecting though to be a harder fight than the previous one, considering she is the European champ, or you sort of looking at the rank and thinking, she's ranked below the last fight that I've had. This might be a little bit easier?
I don't know. Like, I always look at every fight I go into as being my hardest fights now. So I'd say that she's going to be a tough fight, but I know that I can beat her. So I know that I can win this European title. That's all I do know. But I know that she'll be a good fight, and she'll be tough. She's game, and yeah, it's going to be a good fight again.
Definitely. I mean, obviously, not to keep going back to the previous fight, but you said you wish you could have done more. Are you using that sort of mindset to push you forward now in this fight, thinking, the last fight I wish I'd done more? You're using that to sort of fuel, to sort of take you into this next fight to get the win?
Yeah, it's going to motivate me to do more as well. So on this fight, I know where I went wrong in my last one, so I'm going to make sure that I don't do that in this fight coming up, especially because it's even bigger as well. It's the European title, so it's definitely going to fuel me to go more and push myself more in this fight.
Definitely. I mean, being a fighter with so many experienced boxing sort of brains in your corner. Obviously, you've got your Kieran, you've got Dave Caldwell, obviously Matchroom, Eddie Hearn. I mean, does that add pressure though to you as a fighter, knowing that sort of the other fighters who you're fighting know this and are thinking, do you know what? If I can beat Amy Timlin now, this is going to push my career on. Does that sort of add a little bit more pressure to you?
I don't. It is all pressure because 21 years old, getting my name put out there and title fights and stuff like that. It is pressure, but I don't look at it like that. I just look at it as like it's a good opportunity to win as much as you can, and it's just all experience. That's all I got. I think it's just pushing me into being a better fighter for my next fight and keep improving each fight, and that's all I can do. So in terms of pressure, it is what it is. I'm just going in there, win the titles, and keep getting better and better as I go on.
I mean, obviously there's May, I think the first bids are. Is there any sort of news on when you think the fight could be, as sort of Matchroom Sky, have they sort of said what sort of card you might feature on, or you just sort of still waiting at the moment?
I'm just waiting. I know that we get more information on the 10th of May. Like, we get the purse and stuff like that, what we're going to get and where it's going to be held. That's all I know, but then we'll probably find out what the date will be or when it will be around. I'll say in a few months, so.
Oh, we could hopefully maybe fans will be back in the next few months. But I mean, possibly another matchroom bubble. I mean, are the matchroom bubbles as fun as what they seem like to us sort of fans watching sort of all the media coverage, or is it really just stuck in a hotel room next door to your opponent, just sort of waiting to fight?
No, there's a games room. There's everything. Like there's loads of stuff to do, and so no, it's quite fun in there. There's loads of stuff to do. You're not like stuck in a hotel room, bored. For the first 24 hours you are, because you have to wait for your results to come back for the test. But after that, you can do anything. You can go around the hotel and go in the games room and hang with everyone.
Did you sort of see Skelly in sort of in the bubble? Did you speak to her? Was there any sort of conversations, or did you sort of just try and keep away from her as much as you could? And how did that feel?
Well, we didn't talk. We were sitting a few tables across from each other most days, but we never had conversations or anything like that. We just stayed focused. We knew that we had a job to do on the weekend against each other, so we kind of stuck to ourselves and with our team.
Any sort of evil looks over the tables, or was it just purely professional?
No, actually, there was a funny. We got put into a lift, and we was in the same lift as each other. And her coach made a joke and was like, "Right, we're gonna need security in here to hold them back so they don't start fighting in the lift," as a joke. But that was the only thing really, and that was on the day of the fight, like about an hour before we actually fought each other. We was next to each other in the lift.
Oh, well, that's obviously because you were obviously on the same floor next door to each other. That's why.
Yeah.
You take it, you saw Courtney Bridges fight. I mean, how impressive with both sort of Shannon and with Ebony sort of toughness with that eye in that fight. I mean, you must have enjoyed that?
I actually didn't watch that fight.
No way.
I didn't watch it, but I heard that it was a good fight, and yeah, fair play to both of them. I know that Ebony's quite tough as well. Like we talk quite a lot. She's tough and she's game, and fair play to her because her eye was bad. I saw loads of pictures, like wow. Yeah. But fair play to her. She's tough.
It's just a shame she supports Leeds, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, that is a shame.
But I mean, both fighters, sort of I mentioned there, like you haven't got huge amount of fights on their records, but have already fought for a world title. I mean, having sort of fought for the Commonwealth, having fighting for the European, can you sort of see, a world title sort of shot near in the future?
Yeah, I reckon in a few fights time, so when I win the European, then there'll probably be another title. Probably about 3 or 4 fights. I'll probably end up fighting for the world title. So it's women, they go up the rankings very quickly. Like you go into title fights so quick, but you won't find a male fighting for European world titles in 4 or 5 fights.
No, I mean,
it's very rare.
Lomachenko is the only sort of one I think that sticks out to me. I mean, but he's an enigma in himself, isn't he? So, like you said, you don't get many, do you?
No.
Are we ever going to see the real babyface assassin versus the babyface assassin? I bet you've answered this question, Lord, so I do apologize.
Probably more than likely, yeah. With the same weight, so we will cross paths at some point. But whenever it happens, it will happen like on its own, and we're both game. We'll both want that fight. So yeah, when it happens, we'll both be ready for it.
I mean, we see quite a lot of Twitter beef, between fighters, both male and female. Are you one for Twitter beef? Do you like that sort of thing, or are you more of just as a business, let's just get in there. If the fight happens, it happens. I mean, how do you what side of the fence do you sit on with that?
I don't really I don't slag anyone off, or I don't say anything bad about anyone on social media. I never have done that. I'll just rather fight and do my talking in the ring. I don't understand why people they start arguments and stuff on social media. Probably to sell tickets, but during times like this you can't sell tickets anyway, so I I don't get it.
I've got to ask, Ball and Courtney are sort of, I wouldn't say confirmed, it's sort of happening next, as we know. How do you see that going? Do you think it's going to be a repeat? Is it going to be revenge? And also, how does Rachel make the weight? She's very, very big, isn't she?
Yeah, I've sparred Rachel loads of times and she's about 6 foot tall. So I have no idea how she makes bantam weight. Fair play to her, because it must take some serious dieting to do that.
Can you see a repeat or revenge with Courtney? How do you think it's going to go?
I don't know. I think Shannon, she's improved a bit since that fight, so I'd say Shannon. I think she'll get the revenge.
Now, before I leave you, enjoy your Saturday. Kieran, who runs the platform with me, he's a Liverpool fan, and you know, we are both Man United fans. We play Liverpool in a couple of weeks' time. How many goals are we going to beat them by, Aim? What's the score going to be?
I'll say 4-2.
4-2.
Yeah. Well, no, 4-1, because Liverpool are bad form recently. So.
Brilliant. Right. So if there's any betters out there, Amy Timlin's tip is 4-1, and yeah, maybe we'll see a Mason Greenwood hat trick, which would be lovely as well. Ames, thanks so much, for your time today on a lovely Saturday. Wish you the best now in the future. Wish you the best for the European shot. I'm sure you're going to do it. And the catch up when you've got that lovely blue belt around your shoulder.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Amy, thanks so much. Have a good weekend. See you soon.